You may have been wondering where is all the content that was promised when I released my last video 2 months ago on the 29th of January 2019. Well, a new video is finally here, but it comes with a big announcement. I decided to leave old school RuneScape's primitive combat and bad graphics behind, as I have a newfound love for the best version of RuneScape that ever was and will be, RuneScape 3. Now, you're probably asking yourself, but how, why? I thought you hated RS3 and liked RS. Now, those are all valid questions you're asking yourself, but please allow me to explain. First of all, let me take you on a short journey through the absolutely breathtaking landscape of RS3. Starting off at one of the best additions to the game, the Solomon Store, where you can buy so many cool and unique outfits that make your character stand out in the crowd. Then there are the many new area reworks, such as the Al Kharid rework, where the Al Kharid Palace is now towering over what used to be the small desert town, full of noobs and bots in OSRS. In the distance, you can also catch a glimpse of the Dominion Tower, which is a really cool way to relive some of your best fights with some of the most iconic RuneScape quest bosses. There are also plenty of cool rewards such as Red Nips, which you deploy in combat so they help you out, just like an alt account in OSRS, but without you needing to actually make a new account. Very cool and very convenient. Another favorite area of mine that was reworked super nicely is the druidic village of Teverley, that rests underneath the frozen White Wolf Mountain. But as soon as you descend from the mountain, you enter a warm area full of people that makes you want to move your POH there and live out your RuneScape career in peace with the druids. But enough about the new areas, as every single one that was reworked is so beautiful I could spend the entire day talking about them. I want to show you some of the other cool things that RS3 has that are keeping me from switching back to OSRS. Now, considering my old school series Max Adventures was based on the premise of obtaining all pets, why not start with them? In old school, you have to grind for so many hours and hope you get one. You can spend days, weeks, or even months grinding out a pet and not getting it simply because your RNG is bad. Well, not in RS3. They added lovely items called Premier Club tokens that you get just by subscribing to RuneScape, which, let's face it, you will do either way. Now, what is so special about these tokens, you may ask? Well, they allow you to redeem them and pick any pet you would like, such as this cool little flying pig I chose. Why waste thousands and thousands of hours grinding Zora for that pathetic snake when I can just redeem a token and get a super cool flying pig? Now, I know not everyone is interested in pets, and that's fine. There is so much other content in RS3 that you can do. Just let's look at skilling, for example. Are you tired of the poor XP rates in OSRS? You feel like you're not making any progress at all, even though you have been playing for at least 6 hours a day for the past year? Well, have no fear, because RS3 is here to save the day. Gone are the days of constantly clicking to get decent XP rates. The content developers of RS3 realized that your time is important, and they gave you so many lovely ways to AFK and still get XP rates that are up to 300% faster than their OSRS counterparts. Take crafting, for example. In old school, if I wanted to train crafting, my best method would be to either do air battle staffs or black dragonhide bodies, depending on my budget. None of these two methods is particularly AFK, and the best method, which is the dragonhide bodies, caps at around 500k XP per hour. RS3 solves that issue very elegantly with the protein crafting method. You just click once and you get a cool 180 seconds of complete AFK. That's 3 whole minutes, enough for you to microwave some food, go to the bathroom for a number 1, or maybe even a quick number 2. And the best part? You get 74,232 XP for doing that. That gives you an XP rate of almost 1.5 million crafting XP per hour, all for just 2 clicks every 3 minutes. Still not convinced? Well, let's talk about challenges then, a great addition to RS3, where you can complete a simple skilling challenge that rewards you with a treasure hunter key and a large chunk of XP. Now, these challenges are varied, but they are great because they force you to try out new things that you probably wouldn't if it wasn't part of the challenge. Take divination, for example. It's a new skill that is exclusive to RS3. Naturally, given that I am an OSRS player and I was afraid of change, I didn't want to try it at first. But after I received the challenge to harvest some gleaming memories, I said fuck it and tried it. And oh my god, did I become hooked on divination. It is the absolute best skill in the entire game. I kept hearing about something called blue balls on the internet, but I had absolutely no idea what people were talking about. Well, now I know, and I got them too. It's really simple to get them as well. All you have to do is get 50 divination, which I easily achieved with the help of treasure hunter lamps that we will get to later on in the video. Once you are level 50, you just have to visit the area by the nature altar in the jungles of Karamja south of the Taibo Wanai village, which looks absolutely gorgeous by the way. And once there, you can begin harvesting memories from these floating creatures that can be found in this area. But little did I know, these memories are actually the faint blue balls I kept reading about on the internet. It doesn't take long to harvest them, and as with everything in RS3, the developers had the player in mind first when designing this piece of content. Because of that, you can just click on the creature once and watch your player get blue balls for a couple of seconds. So yes, I can proudly say, now I have blue balls as well. Not only that, there are alternate methods of harvesting blue balls, one of which features one of the most iconic hunter creatures of RuneScape, the Chinchampa. I bought myself a couple of Azure Chinchampas that I started throwing into the mystical floating creatures until they'd empty out their blue balls and transfer them over to me. Harvesting 100 blue balls was a really fast task, and just like that, my divination challenge was completed. That meant that I was off to Burthorpe to complete my challenge. I got a nice chunk of XP which boosted my divination level, as well as a treasure hunter key so that I can continue gathering lamps. But okay, I know some of you may still be playing OSRS and are afraid of new skills, so let's talk about the most iconic skill in OSRS, Slayer. Training Slayer was never easier and more realistic than it is now in RS3. Let's face it, in old school you can go to a Slayer Master as a low-leveled noob and get assigned fearsome creatures that you never heard of, let alone kill them, without any training and preparation whatsoever. So dumb, right? Well, fear not, because RS3 solved this problem with the addition of Slayer dummies. These dummies are items that you can deploy on the ground pretty much everywhere and train Slayer without risking any serious harm to your account, as they don't fight back. What more could you ask for, right? Not to mention, they give more XP, transforming Slayer from a skill that is capped at around 100k XP per hour in OSRS if you are using the faster training methods, into a vegan-friendly skill because no animals are harmed during training it. You also get a much better XP rate, as these dummies are approximately 1 million XP per hour for simply AFKing them. The old school team could really learn a thing or two from the RS3 team. And fear not, if you hate violence like I do, you don't even have to hit a dummy to get Slayer XP. Jagex added the wonderful Treasure Hunter expansion, which allows you to use keys to get free experience lamps. These lamps can then be used on any skill, it's not even limited to Slayer. Using this method, I was able to achieve 99 Slayer in just a few days without killing a single creature in the process. Old school really needs to step its game up. And yes, don't worry, for all of you that aren't vegan and actually enjoy killing poor defenseless creatures, you bastard! I decided to stop being vegan for a couple of minutes and actually try out the combat system as well. Now, the combat system in RS3 is a different kind of beast. What's great about RS3 is that you have two options of combat to choose from. Now, that is the evolution of combat or the legacy. Now, legacy is going to be for everyone that doesn't like the new combat system of RS3 and prefers the old school way. People like to give RS3 shit for its combat being so similar to other MMOs, but those people really have no idea what they're talking about. In regular MMOs, you have the hotbar, which contains your spells and other skills, while in RS3, these are called abilities. You also get a cool action bar that you have to fill up by using those set abilities. Now, this is a really cool and easy way to play, as using the abilities is easy and keeps you engaged in combat. Most of the abilities are controlled by your keyboard, and it's really easy and convenient, as you can see in the example playing on your screen right now. But if you don't like using the new combat skill, no problem. That's why the great dev team of RS3 added Legacy mode into the game, which is practically the same as OSRS combat. This is great because you always have a choice of what type of combat style you want to use, as they are both practically identical. The only slight difference is that everything is about 30% slower to kill, as well as a lot harder with Legacy mode, but that is practically negligible. The main thing is that you have a choice. Now, to just quickly go over all of the wonderful content that makes RS3 stand above its younger brother OSRS, because if I were to pretty much talk about everything, it would take the entire day, or hell, the entire week. Now, first off, RS3 team decided to rework the smithing skill to make it more realistic, which means that now you can't make a complex sword made out of the legendary rune metal in a few seconds. Instead, you actually have to heat up the metal first, and because the RS3 team has the player in mind first, that means that you get to AFK a bit during this part. Once the bar is hot enough, you get to AFK a bit longer while your character actually makes the sword. Now, the less you AFK, the faster it's gonna be, which, just shows how much Jagex cares about making RuneScape 3 realistic, as that is exactly how things function in real life. Then we also have all of the wonderful daily, weekly and monthly tasks, such as the wonderful giant oyster that gives you clue scroll rewards, as well as a few 100k fishing experience in just a few minutes. There's also the penguin hide and seek event that has you running around RuneScape spotting penguins in exchange for some sweet experience that you can spend in any skill you like. Then there is also the age-old problem of gear. In OSRS, you have to grind for weeks, if not months, to get that piece of gear you wanted. Well, RS3 made this so much more user-friendly, as you can obtain top-tier items from Treasure Hunter, which I have to repeat, This is one of, if not the best piece of content in-game. And Treasure Hunter never gets boring. It always gets new promotions every few days, which means there's always going to be a new type of lamp or bonus experience waiting for you. Now, I know this was a rather fast introduction to RS3 as it has so much content to offer, but I feel it is a fair one as it showcases all of the best pieces of content on offer. So, why waste another minute playing OSRS? Come join me and over 100k active other players on RS3 and start having some real fun with the game we all know and love. The RS3 player count is always higher than OSRS for a reason. I look forward to seeing you all in game in RS3, and hopefully you are all looking forward to some more RS3 content I plan to release very soon. Oh yeah, in case you haven't noticed, today is April Fool's and I didn't mean a single thing I said in this video. Well, okay, our crit does kinda look nice, but still, fuck RS3.